Billionaire Elon Musk and his wife, actress Tallulah Riley, appear to have ended their second marriage together. Riley filed to divorce Musk on Monday in Los Angeles Superior Court after the Tesla CEO himself filed for divorce on New Year's Eve in 2014.
They had it all: fame, fortune, 5 children, and a future that seemed unbreakable. Elon Musk.
Elon's running SpaceX and Tesla. He's got 5 boys. He's going through a very public divorce. And he's got a new fiancée.
The visionary billionaire. Justine Musk, the ambitious writer. But behind the wealth and power, their marriage was crumbling. Justine felt invisible, unheard, and emotionally abandoned. She held on, until one message shattered everything. Out of nowhere, a text, cold, brutal. Elon was engaged, to someone else, no warning, no discussion. Just a bombshell that made her world stop. But that wasn't the worst part. One final betrayal pushed Justine over the edge, forcing her to walk away forever. What was it? And where is she now? Stay tuned, because this story is jaw-dropping. Young love and Elon's relentless pursuit, long before the headlines, before the billion-dollar empires, and before the unraveling of their marriage, Elon Musk and Justine Wilson were just 2 students at Queen's University in Ontario, Canada. She was an aspiring writer, her world steeped in literature, storytelling, and poetic depth. He was already a force of nature, intensely analytical, obsessed with innovation, and wired for success. Their first meeting wasn't the stuff of fairy tales. Justine later recalled how Elon, undeterred by any hint of rejection, approached her with confidence and asked her out for ice cream. She declined, brushing it off as just another casual invitation. But Elon Musk was never one to accept defeat. Later that evening, he showed up at her dorm room, standing in the hallway with 2 melting ice cream cones in his hands. It was an early glimpse into the persistence, the relentless, almost mechanical drive that would define his entire life. Elon's presence was undeniable, his ideas were grand, and his confidence was magnetic. Yet Justine noticed something unusual about him. Over the years, their relationship played out in waves, on again, off again. But eventually, fate intervened. After Elon moved to Silicon Valley, his star began to rise. Zip2, his first company, was gaining traction.
Zip2, a California company that provides online access to information about cities around the country. Everything from where to eat to how to get around.
And PayPal was just beginning to take shape. Meanwhile, Justine was carving her path, working on her first novel. Despite their differences, they shared an unshakable belief in success. Both were determined to shape their futures. It was a bond that felt unbreakable, for a while at least. Marriage and the balance of power. In January 2000, they married, stepping into a new chapter of their lives. At first, it seemed like the perfect union, 2 ambitious people building a life together in California. The air buzzed with excitement, filled with the promise of what was to come. But beneath the surface, cracks were already forming. Elon's mind was wired for efficiency and results, and he approached marriage the same way he approached business, as a strategic mission. He thrived on discipline, control, and relentless forward momentum. Justine, on the other hand, believed in depth, passion, and emotional connection. She wanted a partnership built on mutual respect. But Elon viewed relationships through a different lens, one of hierarchy and dominance. There were early signs of imbalance, moments that, in hindsight, foreshadowed the storm ahead. One evening, in a chilling moment that would later haunt her, Elon looked at Justine and said, "I am the alpha in this relationship." She brushed it off at first, believing it was just another of his blunt remarks. But soon, those words became a reality. She later revealed that whenever she tried to assert herself, Elon would coldly remind her, "If you were my employee, I would terminate your employment." He didn't say it as a joke, he meant it, and over time, she felt herself being pushed further and further into the shadows of his world, reduced to a role rather than recognized as an equal. Elon, the man who was building rockets and revolutionizing the auto industry, expected the same level of structure in his personal life. He moved through life like a machine, focused on the next objective, always a step ahead. There was no room for weakness, no space for emotional vulnerability, and that became painfully clear when tragedy struck. Loss of their firstborn. In 2002, their first child, Nevada Alexander, was born. For a fleeting moment, their world was pure bliss. It was a victory, a new beginning. But then, the unthinkable happened. At just 10 weeks old, Nevada died of sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS.
Sudden infant death syndrome's got to be every new parent's biggest fear. So it's truly an unknown cause. The kids, for reasons we don't fully understand, they just quit breathing. They just fade off to sleep.
The loss was crushing. It shattered Justine's world, leaving her drowning in grief. She wept. She mourned. She tried to process the unimaginable pain. But Elon? He shut down. He compartmentalized, as he always did. To him, dwelling on emotions was an obstacle to progress. When Justine tried to talk about their son, he cut her off. "I don't want to discuss it," he said. And just like that, the conversation was over. For Justine, silence was unbearable. She needed to grieve, to speak, to find some way to heal. But Elon saw no point in revisiting pain. He buried himself in work, moving forward at full speed, leaving Justine alone in her sorrow. The emotional divide between them grew into a canyon, an unbridgeable chasm that would never fully close. The strain of parenthood and the growing distance. Determined to continue their family, they turned to IVF. In 2004, they welcomed twins, Griffin and Xavier. 2 years later, they had triplets, Damien, Saxon, and Kai. In just a few years, their house was filled with children. On the surface, it should have been a joyful time. 5 young children, a thriving career, a life that many would envy. But Justine felt increasingly invisible. She was drowning under the weight of motherhood while still trying to hold on to her own identity. Elon, meanwhile, was accelerating toward the future at breakneck speed. SpaceX, Tesla, new ventures, bigger ambitions. His mind was always elsewhere, always fixated on the next breakthrough. Elon Musk's relentless ambition was a force that shaped everything in his life, from his companies to his marriage. As his empire grew, his presence at home diminished. When he was there, he expected order, efficiency, and unwavering support. Justine, once an equal partner in their journey, began to feel like a mere accessory to his grand vision rather than a cherished wife. The imbalance was undeniable. What started as a passionate love story between two ambitious individuals had become a battleground of power struggles and emotional distance. By 2008, the fractures in their marriage had deepened into irreparable chasms. Elon had always been direct, sometimes brutally so, but nothing could have prepared Justine for what was coming. Out of nowhere, a cold, matter-of-fact text message shattered any lingering illusion of reconciliation. Elon informed her that he was engaged to someone else. There had been no discussion, no warning, no attempt at closure. It was over, not just emotionally, but also legally and romantically. He had already moved on. To the outside world, the Musks had the kind of life most people could only dream of. Wealth, power, 5 beautiful children. On the surface, they were a golden couple. But behind closed doors, Justine felt increasingly voiceless. Elon's approach to relationships mirrored his business philosophy: ruthless, efficient, and results-driven. He valued logic over emotion, progress over sentiment. Where Justine sought depth and equality, Elon saw hierarchy. He made it clear who was in control, once even telling her, "I am the alpha in this relationship." At first it seemed like an offhand remark, but in time, it became a chilling reality. She had fought to hold on to herself, but every attempt to assert her independence was met with dismissal. She wasn't his partner anymore. She was part of his empire, another piece of a meticulously constructed world where there was no room for weakness, no time for emotional entanglements. Yet, despite all the distance between them, Justine never imagined that Elon would sever their marriage with such cold efficiency. To her, their relationship was something that had to be untangled, discussed, and processed. To Elon, it was a simple equation. It wasn't working, so he moved on. The divorce was swift, but the fallout was anything but simple. What should have been a personal matter quickly spiraled into a legal and financial war. At the center of the battle was a post-nuptial agreement, one that Justine had signed years earlier at Elon's insistence. At the time, he had reassured her it wasn't a prenuptial contract, just a formality. She trusted him. She believed they would never divorce. So, without much thought, she signed it. Now, she was realizing the full extent of what she had given away. By the time their marriage ended, Elon's fortune had skyrocketed past $100 million. But because of the post-nuptial agreement, Justine found herself locked in a brutal fight just to secure what she believed was a fair settlement for herself and their children. The agreement severely limited her financial claims, leaving her with only a fraction of what she had expected. She refused to accept it without a fight. Determined to challenge the contract, Justine and her legal team argued that it was invalid. They claimed that Elon had not fully disclosed his financial status when the agreement was signed, particularly regarding the rapid increase in his wealth after the sale of PayPal.
Today, Baird reiterating Nike has outperformed and Deutsche Bank reiterates PayPal as a buy. Let's start with Nike. Steph, you own this. What's your take on this call?
If he had misrepresented his financial position, the contract could be considered fraudulent. Elon, however, was unwavering. He insisted that Justine had signed the agreement willingly and that the legal system should uphold it. His legal team was just as relentless as he was, fighting to ensure that the contract remained intact. For 2 years, the battle raged on, a war fought not just in the courtroom but in the public eye. Justine, once the quiet, supportive wife, became a vocal advocate for her own justice. She refused to be silenced, speaking openly about the power dynamics in their marriage, the way she had been sidelined, and the emotional toll of being married to a man who seemed incapable of vulnerability. She wasn't just fighting for money, she was fighting to reclaim her identity, to stand on her own again. After years of legal wrangling, the court ultimately ruled in Elon's favor. The post-nuptial agreement was upheld, securing his financial advantage. However, the judge acknowledged the complexity of the case, leaving the door open for an appeal. The battle wasn't necessarily over. Justine's fight for her voice. Despite losing the financial case, Justine turned her focus toward securing stability for her children. The divorce settlement granted shared custody of their 5 sons, ensuring they would continue to have both parents involved in their lives. Yet while the legal battle had ended, the emotional war was far from over. Most high-profile divorces unfold behind closed doors, wrapped in confidentiality agreements and quiet settlements. But Justine refused to fade into the background. She would not be just another ex-wife of a billionaire, a forgotten chapter in Elon Musk's ever-evolving story. Instead, she took control of the narrative. In a raw and unflinching essay published in Marie Claire, she laid bare the cracks in their marriage, the emotional neglect, the struggle for power, and the way she had been slowly erased in his shadow. One of the most striking revelations in her essay was her account of their financial dynamic. Despite being married to one of the richest men in the world, Justine had never felt financially independent. Elon controlled their assets, their spending, and in many ways, her ability to leave. During the divorce, she had to fight not for extravagance, but for what she believed was rightfully hers, what she had contributed to as an equal partner in their shared journey. To the public, Elon Musk was a visionary, a pioneer reshaping the future of technology. But to Justine, he was a man who had built an empire while emotionally distancing himself from the woman who had once shared his dreams. Her words resonated with many, sparking discussions about power imbalances in high-profile marriages. Yet they also cast Elon in a new, uncomfortable light. For all his achievements, for all his groundbreaking innovations, he had failed in one of the most fundamental human relationships, his marriage. And perhaps what made the story even more shocking wasn't just the divorce itself, but who Elon had chosen to replace her. While Justine was still processing the collapse of her marriage, Elon was already moving forward with a new woman. His new fiancée, Tallulah Riley, was a British actress 14 years younger than Justine. They had met at a London club, and their connection had been immediate. Before Justine could fully grasp the finality of her marriage's demise, Elon had plunged headfirst into a whirlwind romance. To Justine, this wasn't just about Elon moving on. It was about being replaced. He didn't simply want a new relationship. He wanted a new version of a wife. Someone younger, someone unburdened by the years of emotional neglect she had endured. Tallulah was beautiful, intelligent, and ambitious, but she had yet to experience what it truly meant to be in Elon Musk's orbit. Justine, having already lived through it, saw history repeating itself. A new love in a different world.
When Elon Musk split up with his wife Tallulah Riley for the first time, he told the whole world, "It was an amazing 4 years, I will love you forever," the entrepreneur tweeted to the British actress in January 2012.
Tallulah Riley was a rising star in the British film industry when she crossed paths with Elon Musk in 2008. Known for her roles in Pride and Prejudice and St. Trinian's, she had carved out a reputation as a talented actress with a promising future. Unlike Justine Musk, who had been by Elon's side through his early struggles, Tallulah met him when he had already ascended to billionaire status. The days of financial uncertainty and sleepless nights spent building Tesla and SpaceX were behind him. He was no longer a man fighting for success. He was shaping industries, commanding the attention of the world. Their introduction happened in a London nightclub, a setting seemingly at odds with Musk's introverted and work-obsessed personality. At the time, he was still finalizing his divorce from Justine, but that didn't stop him from pursuing something new. Tallulah later described Elon as intense and captivating, unlike anyone she had ever met. He swept her into his world with the same relentless determination that fueled his business ventures. It didn't take long before she found herself on private jets, surrounded by billion-dollar companies, and listening to his ambitious dreams of colonizing Mars. Despite their 14-year age gap, Tallulah quickly adapted to his orbit. By 2010, just 2 years after they met, they were married in an extravagant ceremony. To the outside world, it seemed as if Musk had finally found happiness again. Tallulah stepped into the role of stepmother to his 5 children and embraced his demanding lifestyle. She provided a sense of stability in his chaotic world, a presence he had struggled to find after his first marriage collapsed. The first divorce. For a brief time, their marriage seemed to work. Tallulah adjusted to his unpredictable schedule, understanding that his mind was constantly consumed by Tesla and SpaceX. But as Justine had once warned, being in Musk's world meant accepting his workaholic tendencies. He would disappear for days, lost in the depths of his technological empires, expecting his wife to wait patiently. The problem was, Tallulah wasn't content with being an accessory to his ambitions. By 2012, their marriage had begun to crack under the weight of his relentless work ethic. Tallulah felt increasingly isolated, trapped in a life where she had to conform to his needs, while her own desires faded into the background. Then, in a move eerily reminiscent of how he ended his first marriage, Elon told her, without much emotion, that he no longer loved her. The decision was swift. He filed for divorce, marking the end of what seemed like another chapter in his restless pursuit of personal and professional dominance. A second chance. Less than 18 months after their divorce, Musk had a change of heart. Perhaps he realized that his life felt emptier without Tallulah, or maybe he saw their failed marriage as another problem to solve, an equation that could be rewritten. Against all odds, he convinced her to give their relationship another shot. By July 2013, they were married again. To outsiders, it was baffling. Why return to a relationship that had already proven to be unsustainable? Some speculated that Musk, a man accustomed to controlling outcomes, couldn't bear the idea of a failed marriage. Others believed Tallulah held on to the hope that this time, things would be different. For a while, they tried. Musk made an effort to be more present, and Tallulah continued to support his work. They attended events together, appearing as a united front. But in the background, the same problems that had led to their first split were resurfacing. Musk's obsessive dedication to his companies once again took precedence over their marriage. His emotional withdrawal became more apparent, his time spent at SpaceX and Tesla stretching longer. Tallulah, once again left alone for weeks at a time, realized that despite their second attempt, nothing had truly changed. By 2016, after 3 years of trying to make it work, she had finally reached her breaking point. This time, it was Tallulah who filed for divorce. The separation was amicable, with Musk agreeing to another multi-million-dollar settlement. But unlike their first split, There was no possibility of reconciliation. This time, they were done for good. Love affair with Amber Heard. If Tallulah Riley had been a stabilizing force in Musk's life, then Amber Heard was the opposite, a storm that threw him into a whirlwind of passion and controversy. After his second and final divorce from Tallulah in 2016, Musk didn't linger in solitude. Instead, he quickly moved on to one of the most dramatic relationships of his life. Amber Heard, fresh from her high-profile and tumultuous split from Johnny Depp, brought a different kind of energy into Musk's world. Their relationship was fast, intense, and filled with grand romantic gestures. Musk had reportedly been fascinated by Heard for years, pursuing her long before they officially got together. When they finally did, their relationship became a media spectacle. Paparazzi captured their every move, from luxurious vacations to extravagant public displays of affection. Musk, known for his calculated decisions and strategic thinking, seemed completely consumed by this unpredictable romance. But just as quickly as their passion ignited, the cracks began to show. Their relationship was riddled with arguments and emotional turmoil. The highs were exhilarating, but the lows were devastating. After parting ways with Tallulah Riley, Elon Musk found himself irresistibly drawn to Hollywood actress Amber Heard, a woman known as much for her stormy personal life as for her on-screen presence. Their romance, which became public in 2016, had actually been years in the making. Musk's fascination with Heard reportedly started in 2012, back when she was still married to Johnny Depp. At the time, Heard was a rising force in Hollywood, sharp, unpredictable, and undeniably magnetic. Musk, intrigued by her enigmatic aura, sought ways to cross paths with her, using mutual connections to arrange encounters. Though they maintained a casual acquaintance, nothing significant unfolded. That changed in 2016, when Heard's explosive divorce from Depp dominated headlines. Musk, never one to ignore an opportunity, stepped in. Their connection quickly escalated, with sightings of the pair in Miami and later in Australia fueling relentless speculation. By 2017, they had officially gone public, appearing at high-profile events and flooding social media with glimpses of their whirlwind romance. Musk, who had a pattern of diving headfirst into relationships, was reportedly captivated by Heard. He showered her with lavish gifts, extravagant vacations, and financial support when she needed it. But beneath the surface, their differences clashed. Their time together was a volatile cycle of passion and discord. Intense chemistry turned into heated arguments, and their relationship soon became a battlefield of emotions. By August of that year, it all crumbled. Insiders blamed their relentless schedules and conflicting lifestyles, but Musk took the breakup particularly hard, later admitting in an interview that it left him devastated. Despite the emotional wreckage, they weren't finished just yet. In late 2017, they gave their love another shot, attempting to rebuild what had fallen apart. However, their fundamental differences proved insurmountable. By early 2018, their relationship had ended for good. Musk later reflected that while he still cared for Heard, their time together had been too tumultuous to sustain. After the storm that was Amber Heard, Musk took a brief pause from romance before diving into one of the most unconventional relationships of his life, with Canadian musician and experimental artist Grimes, whose real name is Claire Boucher. Their connection began in an unusual way. Musk, while researching artificial intelligence, stumbled upon Grimes' work and was immediately intrigued by her artistic mind. They first bonded over an obscure joke about Rocco's basilisk, a controversial AI thought experiment. That intellectual spark quickly turned into something deeper. When the pair made their first public appearance at the 2018 Met Gala, the world was stunned. Musk, the billionaire space entrepreneur, and Grimes, the avant-garde musician with a reputation for surrealist creativity, seemed like an odd pairing. Yet they found common ground in their love for technology, futurism, and deep philosophical debates. Unlike Musk's past relationships, which were often rooted in traditional romance, his bond with Grimes had an almost otherworldly quality. Their discussions ranged from artificial intelligence to space colonization to the fate of humanity itself. It was a meeting of minds as much as it was a romantic entanglement. Then came their most talked-about moment, parenthood. In May 2020, they welcomed their first child together, a son with a name that baffled the world, XAE-12 Musk. The unique moniker, a mix of references to artificial intelligence and reconnaissance aircraft, quickly went viral. It was the ultimate symbol of their shared vision, unconventional, futuristic, and entirely their own. However, even with their strong intellectual bond, cracks began to form. Musk's relentless work schedule at Tesla and SpaceX clashed with Grimes's artistic ambitions. By September 2021, Musk revealed that they had transitioned into a semi-separated state, balancing co-parenting while leading separate lives. Yet their relationship remained complex. In March 2022, Grimes described their bond as fluid, acknowledging that while they still loved each other, their priorities had diverged. They continued to co-parent their children, maintaining a friendship even after their romantic chapter officially ended. The unexpected relationship with a top executive. While the world was still fixated on Musk's unpredictable romance with Grimes, another shocking revelation surfaced in mid-2022. It was disclosed that Musk had secretly fathered twins with Siobhan Zilis, an executive at Neuralink, one of his many companies. Zilis, a brilliant artificial intelligence expert, had been a key figure at Neuralink, helping drive its ambitious goal of merging human brains with AI. Their professional relationship had spanned years, built on mutual respect and shared scientific vision. However, behind the scenes, their bond had grown more personal. In November 2021, Zilis gave birth to Musk's twins, just weeks before Musk's second child with Grimes was born via surrogate. The news shocked the public, as there had been no prior indication of a romantic relationship between them. It also raised ethical concerns, considering her high-ranking role within his company. Despite the speculation, Musk and Zilis have kept their relationship low profile. Unlike his past, more publicized romances, this one has remained largely out of the spotlight. They maintain a respectful co-parenting dynamic, and Zilis continues to play a crucial role at Neuralink. Natasha Bassett. Shortly after the world learned about Musk's secret twins with Zilis, another name surfaced: Australian actress Natasha Bassett. The pair were first linked in early 2022, fueling rumors of a budding romance. Bassett, a rising Hollywood star, had recently gained recognition for her role in the Elvis Presley biopic Elvis. Reports suggested that she and Musk had been quietly seeing each other for some time. However, their relationship never developed into anything serious. Their time together was short-lived, and Musk was soon spotted with other women. It appeared that Bassett had been a fleeting presence in his ever-evolving love life, a brief interlude before the next chapter began. Co-parenting. Despite the whirlwind of relationships that followed, Musk's first wife, Justine Musk, remained a constant figure in his life, as the mother of their 5 sons. Though their marriage had ended in a bitter divorce, they eventually found a way to co-parent. However, their communication remained distant. Instead of speaking directly, they managed their parental responsibilities through Musk's assistant. While their connection as partners had ended long ago, they still had a shared duty to their children. Justine later revealed that she had no resentment toward Musk. She acknowledged that he was never the right partner for her, but still recognized his ambition and brilliance. Over time, she let go of any lingering anger, seeing their marriage as a chapter in her life that had shaped her journey. Now, she resides in Los Angeles, raising their children and focusing on her writing career. With several published novels to her name, she has built a life entirely her own, one that exists far beyond the shadow of Elon Musk. Did you enjoy the video? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section.